So let's transition to the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts started his first ever game in the NFL back in Week 14, which was last week of the 2020 NFL season, and he got to start versus the New Orleans Saints, one of the best teams in all of football. The Philadelphia Eagles got the victory 24-21. It was a great win for the Philadelphia Eagles, who are not having a great season as a whole. Realistically, Philadelphia is still in the race to win the NFC East, but let's be real, people. This is kind of a lost season. The team could win the division, it's possible, but they're not much of a playoff threat. The team right now is 4-8-1. I thought Philadelphia could win about 10 games this year. Obviously, I was wrong, but I gotta say, Jalen Hurts, he played very well in that game. Obviously, Miles Sanders played very well, had 115 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. The defense for the Philadelphia Eagles stepped up versus a very good New Orleans Saints offense. Obviously, Drew Brees did not play, but Taysom Hill, he was playing pretty well heading into the game. They neutralized Taysom Hill. They neutralized Alvin Kamara. The defense played great. But the story of the game was Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. And Jalen Hurts versus the New Orleans Saints in his first ever NFL start, he looked like a legitimate franchise quarterback. He was making very good decisions. He threw the ball accurately down the field. He wasn't afraid to take shots down the field. He was pushing the football down the field. He didn't turn the football over. He ran the football effectively. He had 18 carries for 106 yards. He provided a spark to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know the stats aren't great if you just look at the statistics for Jalen Hurts. 17 for 30, 167 yards, 1 touchdown pass. That's not great if you actually look at the statistics. And for what it's worth, Jalen Hurts, if he wants to succeed long-term in the NFL, he's going to have to make more big boy throws consistently from the pocket if he wants to continue to become a legitimate starter. That's without a doubt in my mind. But based on the circumstances that Jalen Hurts was dealing with, and based on the roster that he has been dealt with, and based on the fact that it was his first ever NFL start, if I were to grade Jalen Hurts' performance, I gotta give the guy an A. I give Jalen Hurts an A performance versus the New Orleans Saints. Folks, Jalen Hurts' offensive line is not very good. His best wide receiver is Jalen Reagor. His first ever start was versus a top 5 defense in New Orleans. And New Orleans, they very well could win the Super Bowl this year. That's your first ever NFL start, and you performed that well under pressure? Man, I gotta say, Jalen Hurts, he played great. And a couple of weeks ago, I said that former number 2 overall pick Carson Wentz needed to be benched in favor of Jalen Hurts. I know a lot of Eagles fans gave me a lot of flack, but guess what, people? As of today, I've been proven right. I've won the battle so far. You want to know why? Because all the Carson Wentz fanboys talked about was, the offensive line is so bad. Oh, Doug Peterson, he's holding Carson Wentz back. Woe is me for Carson Wentz. Oh, the wide receivers, they can't create separation. Carson Wentz has no chance. He can't succeed. Boo-hoo-hoo. Well, people, those excuses that the Philadelphia Eagles fans and that Carson Wentz fanboys were making for him, those excuses are slowly running out. You want to know why? Because guess what? Jalen Hurts, with the same exact roster, with the same supporting cast, with the same coaching staff that Carson Wentz has been struggling with, he just beat one of the best teams in the entire NFL in his first ever start in the NFL. Folks, Carson Wentz couldn't beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are not a good football team. They're awful. They're a 2-win football team. They're probably going to be picking top 3 in the draft. Carson Wentz could not beat them earlier in the season. He tied with the Cincinnati Bengals at home. Folks, Carson Wentz was clearly the problem for the Philadelphia Eagles. It wasn't Doug Peterson. It wasn't Howie Roseman. Sure, the offensive line and the wide receiver core, leaves some things to be desired. Sure, Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman had their flaws, but folks, Carson Wentz played himself out of a job. Did Deshaun Watson fold under pressure despite playing for a bad team this year? Has Joe Burrow folded? Has Justin Herbert folded? Those guys are playing on bad rosters right now. Carson Wentz played himself out of this job, and Carson Wentz was not executing the Philadelphia Eagles offense. He was turning the football over. He was missing throws. He was holding on to the football way too long, and you could have made the argument that Carson Wentz was the worst starting quarterback in 2020 up to the point in which he was benched. And Jalen Hurts, he was executing the Philadelphia Eagles offense. It's not even like Jalen Hurts went out there and threw for 300 yards. He was just executing the offense, but the bar was set so low because Carson Wentz was so bad. Jalen Hurts looks amazing. And by the way, I do think that Jalen Hurts looked like a legitimate franchise quarterback. I do believe the habits that he displayed can be repeated. He's got good mechanics. He throws a very catchable ball. His deep ball is good enough. It's not great, but it's okay. He throws an accurate football. He can run around. He can extend plays. He has a great feel inside the pocket, and let's be real. He throws with a nice touch as well. He's got a good enough arm, not a great arm, but a good enough arm to make the NFL throws. And what Jalen Hurts has that Carson Wentz doesn't seem to have is that it factor. Folks, when can we just admit the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles supporting cast played better when Nick Foles was the starter and not Carson Wentz? They went all the way to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Carson Wentz in 2018, below 500, Nick Foles comes in to save the day. The Eagles are a Alshon Jeffrey drop pass away from the NFC title game. How come when Jalen Hurts and Nick Foles enter the game, the Philadelphia Eagles roster all of a sudden is rejuvenated? They're galvanized. They play with a certain swagger. How come Carson Wentz, who has such raw talent, cannot bring out that in the Philadelphia Eagles? You want to know why? It's because Carson Wentz, he does not have that it factor. He does not have great leadership intangibles. Some guys have it. Some guys just don't have it. And Carson Wentz, he could develop and get better at those things over time. But right now, Jalen Hurts, he's the best option going forward for the Philadelphia Eagles. And if Jalen Hurts continues to play well, the Carson Wentz era in Philadelphia is going to be over sooner rather than later. So again, I'm not going to anoint Jalen Hurts as the next great quarterback. Not trying to do that. He definitely has a lot more to prove. It'll be a big test this week versus Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. The Eagles have a chance to win the division. Will they win the division? Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. A lot of football still left to be played, but it's pretty obvious that Jalen Hurts, he's got some special stuff, and it seems like Jalen Hurts has the it factor that Carson Wentz does not have. And the bottom line is that Jalen Hurts looked like a legitimate franchise quarterback in his first ever start versus the New Orleans Saints. He did some good things, no doubt about it. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.